starting things on time and ending things on time because I want to be master of my time. I don't want time to master me. So if you come in and you don't have time to sign in during the break. And if you come in and you really want a cup of tea, but class is already started, wait till we got tired so that we can be masters of our time. Because I have found that when we give up our power to anything, we give up our power to everything. So, are you ready to have your power?
Yes!
Are you ready to have your life be the way you want it to be?
Yes!
Are you sure?
Yes!
Are you ready to, in particular, have money?
Yes!
Are you ready to Are you ready to have more money than you know what to do with?
Yes!
Are you ready to go where you want to go?
Yes!
Do what you want to do?
Yes!
Buy what you want to buy?
Yes!
Be who you want to be?
Yes!
Get up out of here. We're going to do our treatment for increased income together aloud.
I know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the way that we begin the prosperity class is if you have created money. This sharing right now is just about money. And if you have your 10% time, I want you to come up, line up, and get ready to share. Bring it on up.
I got a check in the mail from a Fidelity investment group from where I used to work. I retired 5 years ago and I closed this account. I said, give me all my money and close this account. I got a check for $258.11.
Pass the microphone on. Go on that side, Rick. There you go.
I was given the opportunity to little party that we had here last Saturday to pick up the food and clean up afterwards, and I was generously given $75. So that was unexpected and very welcome.
Yay! Come on out in the middle of the room. There you go. Be brave.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So Saturday I was at Lowe's picking up some home improvement things, and I accidentally gave the woman a blue card instead of my Lowe's credit card, and she was just like, "Oh, this is a gift card. Do you have money on this?" And I was like, "Oh, no, never mind. I'll take it back. I don't think there's anything on there." There was 25 bucks on that gift card. And I also want to say that I had a significant savings. I thought I had to travel to Washington, D.C. next week for a court hearing, and my attorney called me this morning and said, "It's not necessary. She'll go in my place." That saved me about $500.
I got a check in the mail today from Capital One for, I don't know why, but it's some sort of lawsuit. I got $50.
So my vacation rental person stayed an extra few days, and so I got an extra $300.
hide this, but I got the biggest paycheck I've ever gotten from my job this past paycheck. And I also opened a bank account and a savings account, and I haven't had a bank account in 6 years. So.
You gotta have money to have a bank account. I started a great new job today.
I have a credit card that accumulates cash, and I hadn't been looking at it for a long time. I thought, well, let me check, see if I accumulate any points. And I had, and it was 6,800. Anyway, I got $65 for that.
Yay!
I was trying to sell some DVDs on eBay, and people wouldn't buy them. So I thought, well, maybe I could go take them to the place where I bought them and see if they might be interested. And so they just gave me a discount, and they gave me $40. And then I found 9 cents, and I found 1 cent, but it was special 1 cent because as I was getting out of the car, the sun was shining on this penny, and it reminds me of gold. And so when I think of finding money or getting money, that comes to mind. And tonight, I had given advice to someone, and they gave me $30.
I took out the money from one of my retirement accounts, and I was unaware that I had a second account. And I was really confused when I thought I was getting a significantly higher amount, but it was a smaller amount. And my first reaction was, well, this is a mistake. And then I remembered that as I was on hold waiting to talk to someone about the mistake, I looked at the paperwork and I saw that it said Mutual of America rather than Progressive, or whatever the other P one is. And I realized these people at this P agency aren't going to know a thing about all this money in this mutual, and they have just given me $230.
I got an income refund check for my business for $2.02. Yay! And then at a Bernie Sanders event a few weeks ago, I wasn't here last week to share about, someone gave me a whole bunch of raffle tickets and I won prizes.
I still have a couple of income things I've gotten from selling my stuff. Wow. Stuff that was kind of left over. I put it off and waited till the last minute. I had a box, well, I had several boxes of supplies, catalogs, literature from my doTERRA oil business that I just didn't have any place to store, and I really didn't want as much as I had, so I contacted someone and she said, sure, she'd buy it. And I said, well, how about $100? She said, sure. So we met up, and she was looking through it. She said, oh my gosh, you have so much stuff. So she took the $100 out of her pocket and gave it to me, and she said, is that enough? I said, well, yeah, we both know it's worth a lot more, but 100's fine, I'm happy. So she went over to her car and got it out of her wallet, and she gave me 20, and she said, here, let me give you another one. So she gave me $140, which was great. I have some very old vintage photographs. My great uncle was in the big bands and vaudeville, and there were several photos that were addressed to him, Frank, signed by Betty Rogers and Dorothy Lynn Moore and Rochester, and you know, again, things I've dragged around the country with me, kept in a box, done nothing with, and a lady who came to my estate sale was really interested, so she left her name. So I finally gathered everything up and called her, and she was very interested. She said, I'll pay you, but I don't know how much. I said, I don't either, but if you don't come, you're going in the trash. She was just like, oh no. So she said, well, how about $25? I said, okay, great. So that was a nice little extra. So I had put the word out that I'm interested in house sitting and pet sitting, and I had moved out to a hotel that had a very nice weekly rate and would take my dog from $20 extra. And I was back at my house on Monday cleaning the floors, and I got a call from Kate Wagner, and she said, hey, why don't you come sit at our house? We're going to Ireland for 3 weeks, and it's like, okay, so, well, that isn't money in my pocket, it's not money out of my pocket. That's almost as good, or actually it is as good. I just want to share one thing. For those of you who have a Kindle, the Florence, what's her name? Florence Scovel Shinn. On Kindle, there is a collected wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn, and it has 4 of her things in it: the game of life and how to play it, your word is your wand, the secret door to success, and the power of the spoken word, and it's 99 cents. If you want to read her stuff, I highly recommend you do that.
I got $20 given to me by a friend of mine because I offered my services for free, and she had a medical condition. I looked at her, and then she gave me $20, and I also got some gift certificates as gifts for Earth Fair and stuff like that. And I hadn't even thought about that until somebody else was saying gift certificate. So I will tithe on those as well. But yes, we got some gift certificates, and I have $20 to tithe on.
I told you how I had received over $5,000, and with that $5,000, part of it I bought a brand new top-of-the-line iPad, and I bought a brand new Galaxy Samsung SX phone. So what I'm doing is I put my iPhone on eBay, and I got $200 for it. So, yeah. Best thing is I hated that goddamn.
I went out, there was a Groupon for the corn maze, and I've always wanted to go, so I went out there and I bought tickets for me and some friends, and I went to pay for it, and it was free. I forgot that I had dollars already. So
Hi, I recently got a new job, and this week, actually, last week, so like 5 days ago, I realized, looking at my finances for the rest of this year, I was like, oh, I'd like to be making so much more money. I was like, all right, universe, like, bring it on. And the next day, I went to work, and my boss and I were discussing hours, and she's like, by the way, if you want to work as much as you want to work, I'm open to it. Like, as long as you're not sitting around and you want to help me build my business, like, I want this to be a place of abundance. So you can work as many hours as you want.
Hello. So, okay, y'all know I'm doing dogs sitting at my house and grooming on the side. Well, this one client I'm doing some bartering with and whatnot, and when they came to pick up the dog out of gratitude and appreciation, they just gave me $20. Yeah. And one more thing, it's not about money, but it's a good thing. My neighbor, who I had to watch his dog for, he wanted to go to Atlanta for a rock concert and whatnot. So he came back and he just brought me this watch that works, so it's cool.
Hello. So I've had several manifestations this week. I had a client who gifted me an extra $100 on top of the cost of the session. Yay! Yay! I also got a $50 gift card to Amazon for filling out a survey for my insurance company. And then I did get an unexpected check in the mail for $14.40. Yay! And last year I worked 2 wellness events that were just a one-day kind of thing. And it was great last year, but I had no intention of pursuing it this year. And they contacted me to participate again this year, and so I'm not going to say no. So, thank you.
Okay, so 2 announcements. First, somebody has a gray Honda CRV with the lights on. Now, I have jumper cables, but I would much rather you go out and turn off those lights now. So that's you, gray Honda CRV with the headlights on. Second, I don't know if there's any interest in this at all, but I put up a Facebook page for our class.
that we can play with now and go on and play with after as long as we want to or not. But I'll write the address. It's CSL Asheville Wealth Walk. And I'll write it up here on the board too. Okay, so now we'll go back to this kind of sharing. I have an unusual one, so keep your energy happy as I say the first line. I had an unexpected encounter with a road driver making a blind left turn. So it's okay, but I want to tell you the wealth that I experienced during that. First off, it was very mild compared to what might have been. My car's drivable. I had a witness who got out and came over and said, I saw that. Here's my name and phone number. The person who was in the other car got out of her car and said, I am so sorry. And I said, me too. And the police came and went within 30 minutes or so. I am receiving 6 chiropractic treatments on my lower back, which is very happy about that for the next 2 weeks. And on top of it, I was just about to get my car painted because the clear coat is unhappy. And so now I'll have help with that.
We're told to rejoice for the good of others, and I do. So when Linda announced that she had received her settlement, I had done some things for Lynn back when she had her accident, and at her demand, I submitted her a bill, truly not expecting to get anything for it. So today I got a check in the mail from her attorney for $150, and so thank you, Lynn.
I love this, and I too have unexpected income showed up. I canceled a credit card, canceled a bunch of credit cards. I realized I had like 10 different credit cards. And so I canceled a bunch of them and paid the last bill. You know, they close it out, they give you a last bill, paid the last bill, and a few months go by and they mailed me back a check for $73. And I went, yes, this is great, money out of the blue. And then I was in a parking lot and literally saw a $20 bill at my feet. So I picked that up and did a little happy dance. Yay, yes. So I just want to show you, if you're not familiar with these envelopes, that I use these envelopes for cash gifts to the center. Because we do all the bookkeeping stuff in the checkbook and make sure it all balances, money in, tithe out, all of that. And sometimes the cash that goes in my pocket doesn't get included in that. So I always like to fill out an envelope and put my cash in it. And part of that is that I want to claim my giving. I want my name in the great universal ledger of giving and receiving to go down with that giving. So I know that some people put the money in the basket, but I want to encourage you to put it in an envelope and claim your name on that and claim that which is coming back. And I love that we are playing with manifesting. I love that we are reaching out into thin air and pulling things into our lives. And as we all open up to that, it happens faster and faster and bigger and bigger. How do you feel when people are lined up here telling about how they've created money? Excited, excited. Celebrate the good of others, yes. There's one little thing that some people do, they go, that's for me, a little tapping, you know, that's for me, that's for me. You want to claim that instead of, wow, they got that money. No. Yay, open energy, let it come in, and what you will find is that the universe has all kinds of ways to have money find you. So we did money, and I want to give a chance to do a sharing that is not money, but I want you to do it from your chair. Who has something wonderful that happened this week? Michaela.
Well, I had someone just give me something like
A free hair bow.
And a necklace.
And a necklace. May Michaela.
I just drove my Alice from the Outer Banks, and on 40 coming over the mountains, and the skies just opened up. It was like unbelievable. You couldn't see a car in front of you, and and the fog was so bad, and everybody was like pulling over, and you couldn't even see the lines in the road.
Say I. Own this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, who is me?
It's all you, Kathy.
Yeah, all me. And I was listening to Living the Science of Mind tape, and I was up to tape 12 or something like that. And it was on trust and everything while I'm driving, and I really couldn't see anything. And I'm like, I'm safe, I claim I'm safe, and everybody around me is safe, you know, and everybody was pulling off, and I was just going by.
Good for you. Yay! What is your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, and then Selena.
So I had a cool thing happen last week right after the class, but before we ended the class last week, we were partnering up with someone. And my exercise was, I was focused on calling in a healthy, friendly, supportive community for my son and I. And the past year, I was focused on wanting my neighbors to leave because they complain about my son running around upstairs. So last week in that exercise, I shifted my thinking. Instead of focusing on wanting them gone, I was imagining who was coming in. And I get home from class at 9:30, and there's a for rent sign in my front yard.
I had remodeled a bathroom last year, and I been having trouble with the faucet, and I had the plumber out there twice to work on it. So my first thought was, well, I'm just going to go out and buy a new faucet. I'm tired of this. So since I'm working with my CSO, I had a new thought, and it said, well, maybe this faucet has a warranty on it. So I called the store, and I called Moen, and it turns out they warrant their products for lifetime. So I'm getting new parts for the faucet.
I took my car into Toyota to have service done on it, and when I drove through, he said, "Oh, so you're rotating your tires somewhere else?" And I said, "No." Why would I? No, I said, "Why do you ask that?" And he said, "Well, because they haven't been getting rotated here." And I said, "Well, I bought my tires here. Why would I take them somewhere else?" And I had forgotten that you're supposed to get free tire rotations when you buy 4 tires at Toyota. And he said, "Yeah, you're supposed to get those free." And I went, "Oh." So I'm waiting for my car to be done, and I get a page, and I go over there, and they said, "You know, you're going to need new tires." And I said, "I just got new tires not long ago." And they said, "Well, they're really worn." And I said, "Well, how many thousands of miles are you supposed to get?" You know, and I've only been about 30. And then I said, "Well, you know, if you were rotating my tires like you're supposed to be doing, and I'm getting these free tire rotations, they wouldn't be all worn out, would they?" And so they're going to prorate.
Nice.
Yeah,
they're going to what?
Prorate. They said, "I'll probably need new tires by the time I come back in 5,000 miles, and they'll do a proration, and I will actually not have to pay as much for the new set of tires because I didn't get as many miles as I was supposed to get."
Great.
As some of you know, I have a new car. It's a brilliant peacock blue, metallic. Well, I love it so much. I scraped it on one of those islands when you go into the gas station, and so this big white blotch appeared on it. It just broke my heart. And so I thought, you know, what am I going to do? You know, it's going to cost a lot. Well, the thing of it is that I went to the Nissan dealer, and lo and behold, they said, "Well, just use we gave you some paint for your," and I said, "Gee, I didn't get any." Well, apparently, because my car was previously owned. So the thing of it is that all new cars get a little vial of paint for just that kind of nasty little thing that you do sometimes. And so they gave me one free.
Yay! Who else? Who's that famous fashion designer in the class? On WLOS, all over the news, such beautiful things you make. Yes, you had a good week.
It was a prosperous week. I'll tell you some spiritual prosperity.
very good friend that is a Catholic priest and a bigwig in the Charlotte Diocese. And I was talking to him the other day, and I said, have you ever read The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes? And he says, no, what is that? I said, well, I explained it to him, and he knows that I go here. And he says, I'm going to look that up right now. And we went to dinner the other night, and he says, I've been reading that Science of Mind. And it really speaks to me. One day, this is going to be the mainstream, and it's going to be very simple.
Yes, yes. Come on in, come on in. Come on in, find a seat. Deb, you have another one?
Yes, our friends were visiting from Knoxville this weekend, and they have a Science of Mind church there that combines with the Unity Church, and they have a minister who's not really Science of Mind. So they bought John's book to take to their minister to help her know how to do treatments properly.
And telling the cashier that, this is very expensive for horses, and the guy behind me, he thinks my
Wonderful, wonderful. Jackie, and then Lynn, and then we're going to kind of close it down.
I had a phone call last night with two younger sisters that are like, this symbiotic. I've been at war with them. Aries with their Capricorn square, okay? I heard they told that. Anyway, I had an apology from my sister Barbara last night for all the years that she listened to the other sister who was a right-wing Christian. And she apologized for misjudging me. And that she told me in secret she was going on my Facebook page with, the posts from here. And I told her to look for not yesterday's, but the practitioner's installation, because each one shared and it was really special, and she doesn't call me insane anymore.
Yay! So, just 1 second, Jackie, are you doing your forgiveness work?
Not consciously.
Okay, okay. Who was next? One more. You're Lynn. Yes.
Eric, just out of surprise, brought my sister and my niece from Chicago to Asheville for Gabrielle's 15th birthday party.
Yeah. True prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. And so we play with money because we can see it, we can hold it, we can count it, we can set spiritual law in motion with it, and we can watch it grow in our lives. It opens up our awareness to where is the money in my life. I say in the prosperity acceptance on Sunday often, life has ways of giving you money you've never even dreamed of yet, and so we start to look around. We look around and go, oh, these records that I don't really want, or whatever it was you were selling, Thomas, or a new job, or whatever we do so that we can be in that flow and see what we already have. The worst thing that we can do is go, that's the worst thing that we can do. So when we're saying, wow, look at that penny, the sun is just turning into gold, and I'm going to take that and celebrate it because I know that life has given me something. And I'm going to be grateful for it, I'm going to appreciate it, and I'm going to watch it grow. We do this to develop faith. That if we say this, gosh, how many hundreds of people have said, this stuff really works. It's like some people have been here for 10 years and they're going, this stuff really works. Let me tell you, this stuff really works. That if you focus on something, you will manifest it in your life. And it is our job to train our thoughts, our words, and our actions into manifesting that which we want to have instead of maybe that which we just picked up somewhere along the way and we thought that's what life was about. Now that we are awake and aware, it is our job to set the law in motion over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And when we do that, we get stuff and it changes us. And that doesn't mean that we're just, money-hungry mongrels or something like that, but we're using this as a tool to manifest. We can just as easily manifest blue stones. I, Barbara, know that blue stones are the God is the source of all supply, and blue stones are God in action. We can manifest so many blue stones. But I like money. Hey, you got a blue stone right here. Woo-hoo! I am good at this. I tell you, but I have been doing this for almost 40 years. I have been manifesting my life for almost 40 years. And what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is that we can manifest anything. Anything, anything, anything if we want. If we want to, and sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes it's okay not to go for it. And this whole thing about listening to our guidance and our wisdom, that is just so different for me. So different for me because I've spent so much of my life creating. I'm going to think it, I'm going to do it 1,000 times a day. I tell you to do your affirmations 1,000 times a day. And some of you look at me with this deer in the headlight and I go, no, 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 no. I do it 1,000 times a day. You can do it 1,000 times a day. You do it until it's just running in the back of your head. I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Only good can come from this. Only good can come from this. Life is great. It's a happy day. It's the best day ever. Those are the only thoughts you're allowed to think. And when you do that, you manifest your life. So we practice with money. But true prosperity is perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. And so we want to be just as vigilant with the health and the happiness parts. So as you are, and it's not just physical health, it's the health of your affairs, the health of your bank statement, the health of your relationships, the health of your car, it's all a reflection of you. But as we are learning how to manifest in our lives, we want to also be mindful of the other two. Now happiness is fun. Isn't happiness fun? Isn't it great to be happy? Isn't it wonderful that you can just be happy now? Everybody be happy. You ready? Oh, this is so great. This is so fantastic. I love this. I love being here. I love being here with you, each and every one of you. This is what I was born to do. I was born to be here. You were born to be here. I love having the power to create. I love having the joy of connection. I love this. Everybody be happy. Just go for it. Just be happy. Isn't it wonderful? You can be happy just like that. You are the master of your ship, the captain of your ship. You determine your destiny. You are the master of your fate every second, every moment. And when you do that, you get it. What is it Edwina has us do? She has us go. Everybody do that, ready? What you're doing is you're setting in motion a neurochemical reaction that just made you high. It's like it's another and you get ahead of endorphins and peptins and all kinds of wonderfulness, and you can experience that. So there are no excuses for not being happy. None. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do it. No. There's a pony in here somewhere. There's a blessing in here somewhere. I know it. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to name it and claim it, and I'm not going to let go until I get it. And so our physical body, I believe that true prosperity includes perfect health. So as we are looking at our physical body, I want you to actually look at it. Feel the energy? Your assignment this week, on top of everything else I know, is to strip down buck naked in front of a full-length mirror and appreciate your physical form. And I don't care if it doesn't look like other people's physical form. It doesn't matter. When you look at your body and go, oh, God, your body gets sick. Your body gets depressed. Your body has to build up defenses, and it does that in terms of fat. There's nothing wrong with fat. But when we are using it to protect ourselves, instead of just being big and bold in the world, then it's not good for us. When you love your body, it doesn't matter what size it is, it doesn't matter what shape it is, it doesn't matter how old it is, it doesn't matter. What matters is that your body listens to every word you say. Every word you say. So the same way that you are practicing how to create money, you're going to practice how to love your body. It's okay if you pet it. I really like my body. I do. I do. Like your body. Tell your body that it's strong, it's flexible, it's healthy, that your immune system is fantastic. This is what I told Bob Horn when he tripped off the curb and showed up with slings and braces and stuff. This is my phrase. You were born to heal. You were born to heal. 3 weeks later, the man is fine. Look at him. He's fine. So, something happens. Oh my gosh, there's a marker on the test. Oh my gosh, that person just kissed me and they're sneezing now. You were born to heal. Say that. I was born to heal. Otherwise, you would still be bleeding from the cut you got when you were 3. You are born to heal. But your body won't heal if you don't talk to it or think about it in such a way as it lifts up. And I've worked with people for just decades, and the people who end up really sick and just having an awful life are people who have sick, awful thoughts. They tell themselves that they're no good. They tell themselves that nobody appreciates them. They tell themselves that they can't. And so they manifest that in their physical life. And what you get to do is you get to start telling yourself that you are the most amazing person in the world. How many people were here yesterday? Good. Good job. Those of you who listened to my talk, it was fantastic. I deserve it all. I deserve it all. You were a magnificent expression of spirit. You're alive. You know, we could go through the whole thing about all the sperm and the egg and all of that. We don't need to do that. You're here. Not only are you here, but other than Michaela and what is your name? Adavi. Hi, Adavi. Other than Michaela and Adavi, you made it through to adulthood. I think that's really fantastic. You handled puberty, whatever number of marriages you've had, relationships. You've gotten pretty far on the growth process in physical form. Give yourself a pat on the back. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I've got the scars, I got the scars. Hey, I lived. I have lived this life. I have not cowered in the corner. I have lived this life. So tell yourself, I'm strong, I'm healthy. I mean, I look at Kate Grayson, she gets on this giant motorcycle. She's living life. But if we say, oh, I'm frail, oh, you know, the genetics of it all, the genetics of it all. You know, they've actually proven that the genes that you get from your biological family can either be turned on or off depending on your thought. And they do that in a couple of ways. One, by having adopted children who come down with the genetic disease of their adopted family because they don't know that they're adopted and they don't have those genes. Or someone who doesn't get the genetic predisposition because they never heard about it. They've actually done studies where you can control the genes in your body. Bruce Lipton talks about it's like we've got this library and it's our genetic makeup, and with our focus we can pull the book out and open it up, or we can close it and put it back on the shelf. So if you have something, I know David, all His grandfather died of a heart attack at 54. His father died of a heart attack at 54. David was sweating it when he was 53. And you too. And he was really working on himself. He's way past 54 now because he decided that he doesn't have to take that. So your body will listen to you. You know, when people get hypnotized, all they're doing is listening to the hypnotist. They can take a person, hypnotize them, take 2 folding chairs, put their heels, just their heels on one chair, and just the top of their head on another chair, and then they can sit 5 people on top of them. And they're rigid as a board. If we tried to do that consciously, we could never do that. People can be hypnotized and be told that they've been burned, badly burned, and they will grow a burn right then and there in front of people. And then the amazing thing is that they can be told that there was no burn, and the tissue will heal up right in front of people. So what happens to your body when you go, oh God, I can't even believe I look this way. You know, in my mind I still look 20. Who is that person in the mirror? When we do that, then the body says, oh, I'm supposed to look that way. Oh, I can't run marathons. Oh, I need sleep. We tell ourselves that, our body acts that out. So I really want you to take this on this week. I want you to strip down buck naked in the privacy of your own home and look at yourself. What are these lies you've been telling yourself? Cellulite is God in form. And nobody's supposed to look like a 20-year-old except a 20-year-old. So look at yourself. Get to know yourself. Be honest with yourself instead of making up these awful lies that say, I'm not good enough, I'm not twiggy, you know, I'm not, God, the models now are what, 12? I mean, really, they're 12-year-olds. You don't want to be a 12-year-old. You don't want to look like a 12-year-old. You don't want to have a 12-year-old's body. You want to be a person, and you want to be your person. So give yourself that. Look at yourself. Look in your eyes. I love to look at myself. I've trained myself that whenever I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, I flash her a smile. Sitting out there for you, and suddenly what is it? Because I'm watching. My body's watching. So one of the things that I love to do is to look in my eyes, and I can ask people what color eyes you have, and you will think that you have brown eyes or blue eyes or green eyes or hazel eyes, and I will tell you, you have none of those. If you take the time to look in your eyes, you will find so many different colors that you never knew were there. You are so much deeper, so much greater than you give yourself credit for because you haven't taken the time to look. So look at yourself. Look at yourself. Give yourself some positive reinforcement. You know, the days of people never seeing their naked bodies is over. People went through entire marriages with the lights out. Nobody ever saw anything. We are in a much more open time, so take a look. Take a look and give yourself some compliments. Do that every day. I've had all of my houses to where when I step out of the shower, there I am. There I am. Before I can have a towel, before I do anything, there I am. And when I first started that, and I was young and beautiful and thin, and I would start that and I would just make me sick to my stomach to see myself. And now, I'm not as young, and I'm not as thin, I'm still as beautiful, and I get out of the shower and I go, yes, I am living this life, I am eating this food, and I am enjoying myself, and this is my vehicle for going through life. So give yourself that input and watch how you have more energy. Watch how you feel stronger. I've had times in my life where I was really maxed out physically. And I've had to tell myself that I had plenty of energy to do what I needed to do, and I did. And I had other times when I just said, oh, I just can't go on another step, because I didn't want to. And sure enough, I couldn't. But our body will listen to what we say, and if we tell our body that we're sick, guess what? It's going to get sick. If we tell our bodies that we were born to heal, and I don't care what anybody has ever measured or pictured or diagnosed us with, if we tell our bodies that we were born to heal, we will heal. Right, it's right there, Jenny.
I have something real
Quick,
quick.
okay.
When I was a little kid, it was difficult, and there would be bad scenes, and I got kind of beaten up. However, I would go to my room, and that's exactly what I'd go and look in a mirror, and all I could see was my face, you know, and I would smile.
Good for you.
Wow, that is very pretty.
Boy, to be able to do that after you got beaten up, that was good. That was good to say, I'm not going down. You're not taking me down. Good for you. Good for you. Perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect happiness. Everybody? Perfect. Gets old. So look around for your money. Just look around for it. Before you open up the mailbox, fill it with love. Just accept all that life has for you. Take it in. Spend it. Have a good time. Laugh. Money loves joy. It is. They've done studies where they put a $100 bill down on a street in Manhattan. And then they photograph the people going by it. And people will walk right by it, step right on it. And they'll interview them and say, do you know you just walked right by a $100 bill? Oh, that is always what happens to me. You know, if I miss it, I'll miss it. I'm never the one who gets it. And it's probably already blown up. Do you hear what's happening? Yeah. And then somebody will stop and go, yeah. And they'll interview them and they'll go, I always find wonderful things. Life just is a great experience. I'm so happy in my life. And wasn't this just a wonderful day that I found this $100 bill? So if you have control of your happiness, if you have control of your affect, money will seek you out. And if you don't, if you're all shut down and tight ass and upset, it's going to go right by you. It's going to go right by you, and then you'll find someone next to you who's going, it's a happy day, it's the best day ever, and look, money! Your choice, just your choice. Chris.
A few years back, I really wanted a new digital camera. And I would be reading all the magazines and thinking all the thoughts and doing all of this. And I went to the casino. I had some urge to go to the casino, and I walked out of there with $15,000 in my pocket. So I bought a new camera. And the day I walked out of the store to buy my new camera, I found $200 there on the ground.
Yeah, because you were in the zone. You were in the zone. You had an urge.
I did.
Because we're talking a lot about intuition right now in this class, in your reading. You had an urge. John, when he was learning how to be a firewalk instructor, they did an exercise. He bent arrows with his throat. He put a knitting needle through his hand, and he wasn't allowed to bleed. You know, put it through one and pull it out the other. But what they did is they went to a casino, and they had a cup of quarters, and the deal was that you separated your winnings and your losings so that you didn't just spend it all. You knew how much you won at the end. But he said it's this little hodunk casino, and there were only like 3 quarter machines, and there were 12 of them there. So he just sat down and just was watching, and somebody was playing a machine, and they got up, and he just sat at the machine, and he looked at the woman next to him and says, how does this work? And she said, well, you put your card in, because this wasn't a change machine. You put your card in, and then you push that button. Well, he didn't have a card, but he said, like that, ding, 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 ding. He won money without putting any money in. Life is a biofeedback machine that is in alignment what you're thinking, feeling, speaking, and doing. So what we're doing is we're setting the law in motion over and over and over. We're celebrating no matter what it is. If it's a penny, if it's a dime, if it's $11,000, if it's $100,000, we're celebrating that for ourselves and everybody else to be wide open for all of the money that's flying by. Some of it is directly focused on us. Some of it's just out there. Sometimes I can just see money flying around. And I just want to take a big net, you know, and just catch it and bring it in. And the big net is energy. It is our state, it is our feelings, it is our thoughts, and it is what we do in life. So, back to our reading. I reminded myself I really am supposed to be talking about our reading tonight. You read steps 4 and 5. If you were to read, there are these little blue slips out on the back table that have your reading assignments on them. Steps 4 and 5 was your reading last week, and I want to talk to you about your letters to your CSO. I put these together. I was really efficient and effective and wanted handouts for you for the first night of class, so I went through the book and I wrote all of the things that she said you were supposed to do. I gave you some nice little lines. It has paginated margins on it, and it's real tight and efficient. And I was using these, and I thought, gee, I'm not really letting go in this. You've got your gratitude letter, I'm grateful for my, colon, and lines. And I would do bullets. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that. And John said, why don't you let go of the form and just write a letter? Just talk to this internal projection of spirit in form as us that we have given great wisdom and power to, and titled the Chief Spiritual Officer. You know, it's just a game, right? It's a game to get us to let it go. One of the biggest ways we sabotage our creation is that we hold on to it because we think we have to do it. The we that is conscious, the we that says, well, I know how this is going to work. That person has to go there, and then that'll happen over here, and then I'll get what I need to go and do that. No, there is that within us that is so much greater than anything we could ever figure out, and the pressure that we feel about having to do it and make it happen is all from our lack of self-worth. A sense that we don't deserve it unless we do it. We can't just sit back and say, peel me another great life. We have to make it happen. So this is a process that this woman, May McCarthy, came up with that is allowing us to disconnect from that need to control it all. Because we think we have it all figured out, and the only way that the sun can rise up is if we get on our bicycle and go really, really fast, and sure enough we do it and the sun rises, so we think we did that. We did, but we didn't do it with our bicycle. All we did was make ourselves tired. So instead of having the lines, qualities that I'm going to express toward myself and others, bullet, 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 sign it, date it, boom, I'm done. I wasn't getting real far with that. And so I got myself a book, and I filled it with blank paper. You can get this in Office Depot, Staples, things like that. And I just started to let myself go. And I found that I was saying things that I didn't even know were inside of me. And then I would just go ahead and let it come out. You know, there was, the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of people make their transition. And we've done some memorial services, and there have been extra surprise work with all of that. And some of it was contingent upon other people to, like, get the pictures together so that we could do the slideshow during the memorial service, and I found that I would get frustrated. It's like, damn it, if they would just get those pictures over here, then I can get started, and we're not gonna have to do this all at the last second, so can you do that? No. Well, of course they couldn't do it. I was all, no, no, no. No, no, no. I was all, this is wrong. So nobody can do it when I'm all, this is wrong. And so I started just letting go, and I want to encourage you to let go into this greater idea that says there is something that supports us, that can make miracles happen. There's a place in the textbook where Ernest says it doesn't matter if what you need to know or what you need to have, and it was back in the 20s that he wrote this, is in the darkest corner of Africa. It doesn't matter how far away it is or how seeming unattainable it is, you will have that if that is what you need for your demonstration. So you've got this something that really will work out the details if we will open up to it and then let go of our need to micromanage and control it all. So I want to encourage you to get some other kind of paper. And I know that a lot of people are very attached to their paper with lines on it. But lines keep you in check. So if you have paper with lines on it, consider turning it so the lines are going up and down and you write across it. And that's a way to not be in check. I don't know about you, but even though I fought it for decades, there was still some part of me wanted to be a good girl and stay in the lines and write straight and legibly. And then when there were no lines, if you go up, down, round and round, you draw little pictures, put things over on the side, it was much more of a free flow, and I've had such better demonstrations from that. So I just want to share that, my process with you, because this is very much what John and I are also doing. Even though he's on the road for 2 weeks, he's calling at 4:30 in the morning California time so that we can go over our gratitude letters with each other and do our treatment work out loud and have that time that we've been having at home so much. And my process has changed. And I want you to know that I do this for me. That teaching this is the best way to grow that I have ever found in my life. And so I'm doing this for me, and this is powerful stuff. Things are happening. I have gone through so much forgiveness stuff. I particularly have been angry with someone for a few years now, and on the surface it would seem rightly so. And on this call, I heard them speaking so eloquently, and it just touched my heart, and I've done major forgiveness work with them. And what came out of my mouth was, and I forgive myself for still loving them. You know, I forgive myself for not even being able to hold on to being upset anymore. That wherever I am and whatever is going on, I'm going to be okay with that, because when I am resisting anything, my money's going away. And I've just been a broken record with John lately. You want to be upset about that? You can. You can. You forgot your book. You're going to Seattle where the woman lives. Probably in their bookstore today. You could buy another one. But you can be mad that you forgot that one if you want to. But it's costing you money right now. Right now. It's costing money. We might as well take $100 bills out of our pocket and light them on fire. Every time we get upset, every time we complain, every time we think that something or someone is wrong. And the only thing that I know to do is take it back in and just let everything be okay. And we call that forgiveness. I forgive myself more than I forgive anybody for anything else, even the people who come in the side of the sanctuary after the celebration has started. I forgive myself for being so rigid about that. What if that was me? And I was a little bit late and I really wanted to get in. I saw a door and I took it because I like to take my openings. Would I want myself to be mad at me? No. Relax, Barbara. Everything's okay. Forgive yourself for having that reaction. So that helps me, because then I don't have to forgive that person. because they didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I have to do is forgive myself for having been upset that something happened. That's a shortcut for you that over this coming week you might find very helpful. Instead of forgiving everybody on this list that seems to continue to fill up. I don't know about yours, but I'm chalking them off and then they keep coming up. It's like, oh, no. Just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being afraid. Forgive yourself for acting out old patterns. Forgive yourself for only seeing the little picture. Forgive yourself for holding on. Forgive yourself for being judgmental. Forgive yourself for not being as spiritually enlightened as you thought you were. It's okay. Just let it go. And let it go over and over and over and over again. And I guarantee you, what you're doing is you're opening up a space energetically within you for money to find you and fill up. And every time you want to get rid of that money, all you have to do is close down that space. It's all energy. There's so much money looking for you, not to mention the money that's just flying around, that when we shut down, we miss out on it, and when we open up, we get it. So our job is to open up in our thoughts and our feelings and our words and our actions, to do it by looking at ourselves buck naked and loving ourselves, to do it by doing our forgiveness work, to do it by setting spiritual law in motion with this idea of a chief spiritual officer and letting that go, turning it over to the law, turning it over to spirit. You know, God can handle all of time and space, but not my problem. That's ridiculous. So when we can turn it over and let it go, we've done our work, and then the manifestation happens. We good? Let's take a break. You have one of the increased income flyers, Susan? Is there anyone else who's here for the first time? Thank you, Tom. Tom, winner of the North Carolina lottery a number of years ago in this very prosperity class. Thank you. Anybody else here for the first time? We have branched out to where other people are joining the group, people who are not here. So if you've got anyone you want to include in this, then by all means, let's bring it into the energy. The guarantee is for people who started in the first night, come to all the classes, do everything I tell you to do. I guarantee you, you will create increased income during this class. I've never had that guarantee fail because you cannot help it. If you open up, more good will be in your life. Not because you have to go find it, but because you're actually shutting down to the good. So when you open up, the good that's been sitting there all along, waiting patiently for you, is there. Boom. More money, more happiness, more joy, more people, more opportunity, more stuff. It's just great. So when I said to you, Drew, that you don't know me, I did. There are a lot of people, and I forget, having done this for 30 some odd years teaching this. This is our 20th prosperity class, summer prosperity series class. But I forget that people keep coming into the center and they're here for a while, but really you haven't had the longevity of knowing who I am and where I've come from. So I want to take a little bit of time tonight to talk to you about tithing. Because so many times we come into something like that and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do my affirmations, I'm going to do my forgiveness work. Well, maybe I'll do my forgiveness work a little bit. I'm going to do my letter most days. But then you want what? You want me to give up money? What are you, crazy? I'm in this class because I want to get money. And what happens is all that work that we're doing comes to a screeching halt because we have shut down. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about something that I hold very dear. For that matter, this center was created out of tithing. It actually was created because I have been an avid tither for decades, and when John and I moved up here, we were very involved in the Unity Church. I was the assistant minister with Chad until he realized what I was teaching. Then he said very bluntly, don't teach that metaphysical BS in my church. Wow. So we parted ways, and I was still tithing. But I didn't have any place to get it because I had always been taught that you tithe to where you are spiritually fed, and I wasn't doing anything. And so I would keep tithing, and I actually had an envelope, a white envelope that was just stuffed with money. It was all cash, because at that time in my life I was dealing on a cash basis, and I looked at it one day and just got such a clear hit that my life was out of balance, because I had all of this tithe money and I had no place to give it. And that if I couldn't find some place here in Asheville that I felt was spiritually feeding me, then I had to create it. And that's when I said, because I had been a minister in Miami and left under very dramatic, Barbara in her youth, very dramatic circumstances, and vowed never to go into ministry again, that's crazy. And so I did that whole surrender thing and said, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do to be in balance, this is what I'll do. And we started the center just a few weeks after that. But I was so sold on tithing because when I first found this teaching, I was 24 years old. I had a 3-year-old son. I had no place to live, no car, no job, and no money. And I was 3,000 miles away from anything I knew. I was in a climate that was cold, and I didn't have clothes for it. I was sleeping on someone's floor. And I had been poor most of my life, but I had never been this poor. I had never been this broke. And so the people that I was staying with, they came up to me one morning and kind of kicked me because I'd taken over their living room, and oh, they were thrilled about that. And said, we're going to church, do you want to come? And I said, coffee. Yes, I want to go and find coffee. We all come for the cookies. And so I went to a little Science of Mind church in Eugene, Oregon, where I found my first true spiritual teacher. And he was talking about tithing, and you know, it was such a foreign concept to me. I remember I had 34 cents to my name. And he said, if you think you can't afford to give, you can't afford not to. I had a 3-year-old son, I had no place to live, no money, no job, no car, no prospects, and very few people that I even knew. And I just said, okay, if this is what it's going to take to give everything that I've got, to give all of it, because you know that was bus fare. I could have gone on one bus ride with that. And that was the level I was living at. So if I have to just really step out on faith, then that's what I'm willing to do, because my life is not working the way that I'm trying to work it. And it's not like I was not industrious. It's not like I was lazy or not trying. I had spent much of my life working 1-2 jobs. The husband at the time that I ran away from, I was running a photo processing lab, and I had never known anything about running a photo processing lab, and yet I was running it until I ran away and tried to find myself. So I put this money in the basket, and I said, well, now I'm really screwed. You know, I got nothing now. And it was maybe 3 months before I had an apartment, a job, a car, and a sense that I was going to be okay. And so I've never been willing to let go of that tool to set spiritual law in motion because it has saved me. I mean, I know we all save ourselves, but for me to not acknowledge that when I surrender and give, and I've often thought, you know, sometimes life just wants to stretch me until I'm going to break, and I never break. I always just find a greater dimension to continue to stretch into. So I absolutely believe in tithing, and I want to tell you that because if you're going almost to the edge and then pulling back because it's about turning loose of your money, I want you to turn loose of your money. There is no way to have mastery over money if you still think it rules you. Money is a reflection. And when we look at the money and say, I got to hold on to it because I don't think I'm going to eat if I let go of it, I guarantee you it's better not to eat. Go through that and then watch how money shows up. Because if you hold on to that so you'll have just enough to get by, you're going to be hungry for the rest of your life. You're going to barely get by for the rest of your life instead of stepping out on faith and saying, I am going to do this. I am going to do this because I refuse to be ruled by my ideas about lack and limitation anymore. One of the best things about tithing is it scares you. That's a good thing. It brings up all your stuff. Well, you know, I said I was going to tithe, but, oh, this is a lot. You know, that would be ridiculous to tithe on that. That's the sale of a house. That's an inheritance. That's real money. No, 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 no. When we make the commitment to tithe on every penny, the universe opens up for us. And I have demonstrated this over and over and over again. There have been times when this center was not demonstrating the prosperity that I knew it could. Times in the beginning when we were meeting in a trailer. John actually carried this center with his work the very first year that we were open. He was our sugar daddy, you know, he underwrote it all. He just, how much do you need? Write out a check. And there were times when this center was not doing well, and what I did was, instead of pulling back on the tithing, I doubled it. Well, Barbara, that's not very fiscally responsible. You know, here you have a late notice from the electric company, and you're going to give more money away? Exactly. Exactly, because we are either creating our reality or we're not. And if we're not, we might as well all go home and just live a life of quiet desperation like the masses do. And if we are creating our reality, it means that we're going to create it no matter what. And the only job that we have is to clean ourselves up. That's all that we get to do. We get to do our forgiveness work. We get to set spiritual law in motion. We get to do treatments and affirmations till we're blue in the face. We get to only think the thought that we want to think. And we get to bring up those old ideas that say, there's not enough. I don't get to have it. That's for other people. Money doesn't grow on trees. We'll tell that to an apple farmer. Money does grow on trees. And we get to bring up those, yes, that's a money tree. Yes. We get to bring up those ideas so that we can look at them and say, how long will I let you decide how much I'm going to have? How long will I let that old idea about who I am dictate who I will be? And I grew up poor. Margaret remembers having rubber bands hold her shoes together. You know, we grew up poor. And we knew it. It's not like the whole village was poor. We knew we were the poorest kids in the neighborhood. So I had a lot of thoughts and feelings about that I had to work through. And although I did pay thousands and thousands of dollars to therapists, I never got nearly as much healing as I've gotten from this teaching. And part of it has just been my own insistence on saying, I will stand up to you, fear. You're going to be afraid of 10%, I'm going to put in 20%. just to show you that I can do what I want to do. Francis Leahy used to always tell people, you don't even want to tithe on what you get, you want to tithe on what you want to get. Set it in motion, put it out in advance, and watch things happen. So right about now, in this time of the class, people's stuff is usually up about this idea of tithing. That's why I have you bring your tithe up to tell your story. I want to see it go in the basket. And there have been years where people have had wonderful demonstrations and they just forgot that tithing on it part. When you drove in with, what was it, $35,000 check? You said, here, this is my tithe, and you did it right away. You were fantastic. You were magnificent with your giant check wrapped up in black plastic. We were in the sanctuary. It was the last day of prosperity class. He hadn't demonstrated anything. He's a practitioner of this center. Where's his money? You were magnificent. You drove back from Raleigh that Monday. And then as soon as it cleared, you wrote out a tithe check, drove down that driveway. I was outside doing something. You handed it to me. That sets spiritual law in motion. There is so much money trying to find you. And when we open up to it, when we set the law in motion, things happen. It's as if we're trying to breathe, but we don't want to exhale. I know that there's an abundance of air. Just don't let too much of it go, because you might not get any back. What kind of a life is that? Somebody living like that. No. And trust that you're going to get another breath. Trust that more money is going to show up. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where all of my money has come from, but it has come. And come, and come, and come, and come. And people in this class, people in this center have demonstrated money from places they didn't even know where it was coming from. Where's Crystal? Where's Crystal? Crystal, wasn't it you that had people bidding on your house? Yeah, I remember that. That was when bidding on a house was foreign. That was a long time ago. You decided you were going to, and it wasn't selling, and so you raised the price? Wasn't that what happened? And then people are bidding on it because you changed the energy, because you changed the idea of what you're going to get instead of, well, I hope I can just make enough to pay the mortgage off so I can go find some little hut to rent and I'll just scrape on by. No, I'm going to place more value on it. I'm going to raise the price and I'm going to watch how people are irresistibly attracted to that because it's energy. So I want to encourage you to turn loose of your money. If you want more money, you have to give it away. I am a firm believer of tithing 10% right off the top to where you are fed spiritually. It may be here, it may be somewhere else. I don't care. I do care, but that's not the biggest part of it. If you are watching out on the internet and you have a place where you're being spiritually fed, tithe to them. It's also important to give money away. Giving money away is not a tithe. But if there's somebody in front of you that is buying $57 worth of art supplies and complaining about it, go ahead and buy it for them. If there are kids selling Boy Scout stuff, Cub Scout stuff, Girl Scout stuff, just a random lemonade stand, buy some. If you go into a store, buy something. I like it whenever ministers come here, I know that the bookstore is just going to be bought up. Because they will buy something just to buy something. Just to say, this is what I do, I buy things. You got a magazine, you got a book, this is great. I don't want it, I'm going to give it to somebody else, but I'm going to buy things. Because that's what I am. I'm a prosperous person. I have more than enough to do whatever it is I want to do. And so I do it. So give your money away. Now watch yourself right now. How are you feeling? Are your palms sweaty? Are you breathing? I mean, not only am I asking for you to tithe on your money, I'm asking you to give extra away. Yes?
I was thinking about tithing, and I had resistance to doing it.
Everybody does.
Yeah. But then I was on my back porch just like looking at everything, and I realized how much money serves me. Like every time I go to turn on my light switch, I know what's gonna go on. I even took an extra long shower that night just because it was good.
There you go.
I have hot water, I can stand there for as long as I can stand it. And so that dawned on me that tithing is how it serves my spiritual growth.
Yes, tithing serves your spiritual growth because it cleans you up. It cleans you out. People say, well, you're just brainwashing. Well, some people need a good washing. And tithing is a good way to do it. Because if you have resistance, then chances are you don't just have resistance about money. You probably have all kinds of limiting beliefs about life, that there's not enough love, not enough time, not enough opportunity, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve. So let's just get it all out in the open and deal with it. Bring it up with money. Because money you can see. Did I tithe on that or not? Well, I don't really need to tithe on that. You know, probably that money at some point was tithed on, and even though it was in an IRA and they gave it back to me, I think I could convince myself that I don't need to tithe on that. No, you just went backwards. What we want to do is we want to jump on that bandwagon of giving and receiving, the circle of life, the Lion King, being in that flow of life as much as we can. Set it in motion, set it in motion, set it in motion. Can you imagine if you went to a casino and you had a for sure machine that if you put $1 in, 10 would come back out? How long would you sit there? You would sit there forever. Putting $1 in, getting 10 back. Putting $1 in, getting 10 back. And that's the way life works. If you give out into life, you will get it back. And it's so easy to see, well, if you give smiles, you're going to get so many smiles back. Just try right now. Look around and just smile. You see that? Just smile. And we're in this flow of smile and love. And we just go better and better and better. But then when I bring up money, people go, no, I can't do that. Maybe all of this stuff is wrong. No, all of this stuff is absolutely right, perfect in every way. So what I want you to do, you know, I don't usually do this, but I just want, and you don't have to if you don't want to. But I find that when people are tithers, they are proud of it. And they don't shy away from that. So if you feel comfortable, and you are an active tither, I just want to ask you to raise your hand. Those of you who don't have your hand raised, just look around the room. These people have not been swallowed up by the earth. They are not starving. For that matter, they're doing pretty well. When Kim Dry of Hendersonville wants to bump up their business, they come clean our carpets. For free. They come clean our carpets. And you always have a big week that week.
As a matter of fact, before this program starts every summer, I've been going here for 13 years, business will pick up before this class starts.
Right, because you're getting excited. You're getting that energy. You're vibrating at a higher level.
Yeah, I'm plugged into the energy already because of my prosperity accelerator.
Right.
The energy is there, but it's increased through the community.
Right, right. So it is my job as teacher, and it is my goal to have every one of my students tithe, because I know that that will manifest as money in your life. And you can just try it. You know, you can try it for a few months. This class has you trying it on increased income, which is really just a really soft pedaling the whole thing, which is why I wanted to overt it for the duration of the class. Just try it. Just have you see that you didn't die. You know, that you can get something and give a little bit out and everything will be okay. If you really want to have money in your life, then I would encourage you to do this and go ahead and say, I'm going to do it for 3 months, I'm going to do it for 6 months, and then write it down. Do it like Lynn Villa, where she writes down everything. That woman tithes so quickly. She gets on PayPal. She gets on PayPal almost every day sometimes, and it doesn't matter how much it is, 10%'s going because she's setting the law in motion. And when you do that, you're going to see that your income has gone up. It is my job to teach you how to have a better life. And in this culture, that includes, but is not limited to, more money. It is my job to teach you what I know. I cannot teach you what I don't know. I can only teach you what I know. And I know that when you tithe, more money shows up. It was about 10 years ago, and I was the chair of the tithe committee for, at that time, it was the United Church of Religious Science, and I got the tithe committee and found out they had not been tithing. They had not been tithing because they didn't have any money. No, they didn't have any money because they had not been tithing. Now they were playing these games where in accounting they had an accounts payable of the tithe that they hadn't paid for years. So not only were they not tithing, but they owed money on the books. And I said, we're going to wipe all of this clean and we're going to start tithing. Okay, well, let's give to the Catholic Children's Fund. No, and this was a real thing, nothing against the Catholic Children's Fund. And I said, how have they spiritually fed us? Well, it's a good charity. No, we're not tithing to charity. We're standing on principle, we're setting spiritual law in motion. It was only a few years until they had a surplus of millions of dollars. Because tithing works, because it's energy, because every time you're afraid, you demonstrate your fear. And one of the best socially approved of ways to demonstrate fear is to create poverty.
Yeah.
Well, God is everywhere and always present except for you. You don't have what it takes. The whole universe stopped at the point of you. No! You are meant to stand spiritually straight and tall, to learn how to set the law in motion and then do it. So I can tell you to do it, and it's not just tithing. But tithing will stop the whole thing because you don't tithe because of your fear. Judith, you're back way away.
When I first moved here from California, I literally had spent every cent I had. And then when I started coming here, I was tithing maybe $2, a week. And that went on for a while. And then when I started giving more money tithing to the center, I started being more comfortable financially.
Right.
It just happened, like you said. And,
right.
And now, I mean, I'm able to give more, and the more I give, the more I get back.
The more I give, the more I get back. A tithe is 10%. It's 10% of your income. Whatever hits my hand, if it's $20 in the parking lot, I tithe on it. If it's a check back from the credit card company, I tithe on it. I drive John crazy because I will tithe on money that's already been tithed on. I said, I don't care. Did it hit my hand? Do you see this hand? That money hit? I'm tithing on it. Don't get in my way. And I tithe on it, and I tithe on it, and I tithe on it. Even if I've tithed on it a few times, I don't care. If I'm going to give you money and you give it back to me, I'm going to tithe on it. Even if I tithed on the money I gave you, I don't care. I want to set the law in motion, and I never want to allow my fear to control me and rule me again. I fought too hard to be here. I will not give up for something like money. So I give that money away. I set spiritual law in motion, and then I work on the rest of me. I work on feeling a sense of trust, driving down the road saying, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. I remember once I was at a vision quest in Mexico out in the middle of nowhere, and one of the paths that went from the fire to the little food plastic tent thing that they had was right on a drop-off down to the river, and it was like a 20-foot drop-off. There was this little path. Well, that's lovely during the day. This was at night, and it was pitch black. And I had gone down to get food, the kitchen was closed, and I was going back to the fire, and I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. And so I closed my eyes. You know, if I can't see,
Yeah.
what good are my eyes?
Right.
So I closed my eyes, and I said, I see with my night eyes. I see with my night eyes. I see with my night eyes. And I didn't open them up again until I heard the people at the fire. That's faith. What is it that you're letting tell you you are not the magnificent being that you are? God, don't give up on money. Don't let it be money. Don't let it be the way people told you when you were a child of who you would be, how much you could have, what you were going to experience in life. Don't give up on yourself for them. Don't give up on yourself for what the doctors told you, or what somebody says, or for God's sake, who's running for president. Don't give up on yourself for that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Love yourself. Bring your stuff up. Heal it and let it go. And I guarantee you, you will have more money than you know what to do with. It's like we're standing under a waterfall, dying of thirst with our mouth shut. All we have to do is crack it a little bit. And as soon as we taste it, we'll open up wider and wider and wider. That's why people who tithe put their hand up proudly. People who tithe will never stop tithing. They will never stop because that would be like stopping breathing. It is my job as the person who stands up front to teach you how to use these principles and laws to make your life better, to have the God life you were meant to have, which is not a life of poverty. You are not impressing any deity by being poor, suffering, and struggling. There is no God who's going, oh, you get brownie points in heaven. Look at how hard this life is. It's not like that. The only thing that you can do is add to the joy, the prosperity, the love, the happiness, and the wholeness, but you have to do it. And the moment that you do it is when that fear comes up and you say, oh, I'm going to the doctor for the annual checkup. I hope they don't find. Or, oh, but I know I've got bills coming due. I don't think I can send this money out. Every time we shut down, we give up on ourselves and life goes, oh, I thought you wanted to be magnificent. You just want to be mediocre. Okay. You think you've got troubles now? Watch me multiply those abundantly.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have noticed, and I'm not allowed to use fear-mongering according to the rules in my head, but one of the things that I have noticed is that life is going to get its. And if I'm not giving it under my thought and direction, it's going to go some other way. There's going to be something that happens. If I have a belief that I can't afford to give this out, that I don't have enough faith to know that it's going to be multiplied and come back to me, if I have that belief, I will demonstrate that belief. And the way that it will look is that I lose things, things are stolen from me, I have these lovely stockpiles of gold, and the price of gold plummets. What is up with that? I'm going to continue to affirm, and I will manipulate the gold market till it goes back up. Watch me. Watch me do my forgiveness work, set spiritual law in motion. You'll have a car breakdown. You'll have tires that you need, and they won't prorate them out because they didn't get rotated. You'll have troubles in your life. If you don't give it under your own steam, life is going to take it in another way, not because life is out there going, you bad person, I'm going to get you, but because you will demonstrate your belief in lack. You will demonstrate it, and rather than do that, take charge of yourself and say, I'm going to do this myself, I'm going to prove this law, I'm going to keep track of it, I'm going to set spiritual law in motion, I'm going to watch money come back to me, I'm going to build my faith and trust to where I can just open up and receive and live the good life and always, always, always know that there is more than enough. Whether I've got a penny in my pocket or $1 million, there is always more than enough. And why do you want money to begin with? So you can have that feeling. That's why you want money. So that you can have that feeling, but that feeling does not come from money. That feeling comes from you, and then money comes from that feeling. It's a tall order, I'll give you that. But it's one that will serve you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. To be able to know that there is always more than enough. That you're in charge of your money's not in charge of you. That's what Jesus meant when it said the love of money. People translated that to money is the root of all evil. He said the love of money is the root of all evil. The obsession with money, the thinking that money has your good is the root of all evil, which is just a sense of separation. Evil is live spelled backwards. Hello. It is. It's a death. It's a death. So when you are focusing on money as your source, as that which will make you feel secure and okay, you're dying. So I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to step out on faith, set spiritual law in motion, and frankly, you know, the more broke you are, the better your demonstration will be. So don't wait till you have money to do it right now. Set that in motion and watch things happen. I created a place to live, a car, a job. It was a wonderful job. Do you remember seated jobs?
Yes.
I got a job in the Eugene Public Library. I got free child care, and the government paid my salary, so nobody in the library cared what I did. I was working red. It was wonderful. That was my job. You really can have, and at that time, that was bliss. That was just bliss, to know I was safe, to know I had enough money for food, I could take care of my child, everyone was safe, and I could have some fun along the way. That was bliss. Life is good. Life is good, and I love you so much that I want you to have everything that you get to have in this life. I want you to have that. I want to encourage you and push you and nudge you, because it is so important for us to be clean and clear and ready. So I've got to ask you. Are you ready? Yes! Are you ready to let go of your fear? Yes. That was a big one. Are you ready to let go of your fear? Yes. Are you ready to have money seek you out? Yes. Are you ready to have money show up in your mailbox? Yes. In your bank account? Yes. In your pockets? Yes. Hands? Yes. Are you ready to have more money than you know what to do with? Yes. Are you ready to hire people to take care of your money? Yes. Are you ready to go where you want to go? Yes. Do what you want to do? Yes. Buy what you want to buy? Yes. Be who you were meant to be? Yes. And we'll repeat our treatment for prosperity together aloud. I certainly know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Let's do it as a whisper. I know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, account, what you do? What? I don't know. I'm not in charge of my notes. There you go. So take what you got and hold it close. Because there is no. This act. It is a holy act. We give from our fullness. We give from our faith. We give from our trust. We give setting spiritual law in motion. And all of heaven and earth comes together in concert and harmony to multiply and give back. So we're clear that we are powerful, creative, spiritual beings. We are the masters of our fate. We determine our destiny. We decide what kind of life we will live. And in that clarity, we repeat our treatment for increased income together aloud. I, Margaret, know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class. And I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Back up out of your chairs. Did everybody have a chance? Go find that basket, Hillary. Don't let your good go by. Grab it. There we go. I know that healings happened in this room tonight. I know that blessings happened in this room tonight. I know that lives are changed tonight because we are ready. Are we ready? Yes! I, Barbara, know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program